Music and sound on a film. Oh, is another dimension, basically, to the film that really immerses the audience and gives them an emotional connection to what's happening on screen. There's nothing worse than watching a film and the sound doesn't quite work or the music doesn't quite work, because it takes you out of the story, and it's really there to give you a whole nother immersive level and make it feel real to you. So things like production sound, things like sound design, Foley, and music, whether it's source music, so it's coming from like a radio, a car radio, or something that's in the actual picture, or what we call non-diegetic music, or music basically that's meant as an emotive or an emotional layer, right? Score, or even a song that's maybe performed on screen, or a song that's part of a montage. That really just gives an emotional, connective, immersive layer to the film that otherwise wouldn't be there. I mean, it's very interesting in that when you go to a play and you're watching people on a stage, you don't really need music because you're in the room with the people and the emotions are there, and so much of what we say and how we feel is just being in a room with somebody and getting all of those non-verbal pieces of information. Whereas in a movie, we don't get that. You know, there is sort of this separation because they're not in the room with us and we're watching them on screen. So very early on, directors saw that music was a way to convey or reinforce the emotions that they wanted the actors or the actors to portray and the audience to feel. So they started adding music to movies, and music to movies went way back to silent movies, where there was the guy, the piano player, in the room basically improvising or playing certain pieces of music that were chosen for the video. So, you know, music has existed before even dialogue existed in film. So it's really this part of, we realized it was part of the experience, part of the emotion, part of the entertainment that we search for when we look at a film. But it's also interesting that, you know, even as kids, right, we've always had a soundtrack to our lives. Music is just part of what we do. I mean, how many times as a kid have you run around and played swashbucklers and you've hummed some sort of theme, or, you know, you've been the villain, you said dun da da da, right? Or there's something sort of music going on in your head while you're doing these, you know, big action moves, or or there's a song that connects you to your first love. You know, music has a way of infiltrating our lives in such a fundamental way, and that it also then brings certain emotions or certain connections or certain memories come back from a particular song that we have, or something that we made up in our heads. So having that level, again, in a film, again, brings out those emotions. They're already there. We're already wired to do that, right? So film, again, is a way to bring us into that world, you know, bring us into the feelings, the emotion of the characters and what we're supposed to help us feel.